Hello class, welcome back to our new topic from grade 9 geography, that is chapter 3 drainage. Up to the last topic we heard about location and physical features of India. Today we are going to learn about the drainage system, that is the river pattern system in India. Let us go into the topic. So, before going to the topic, let's understand the word what are drainage basins, river system, and water divide. When we discuss about any rivers and rivers along with its tributaries, the area where it flows is called as river system. A river and its tributaries together is called a river system. And when a river system is flowing through a particular area, the area where it is draining, where it is passing through, where this flowing continuously, that is which is known as the drainage of the river. And when a river flowing through a particular region, we call it as a river basin or a drainage basin. So river, that is the river system and its tributaries, is known as the river system. When a river flows through a particular region and creates a basin by flowing on a larger region, it is called as drainage basin. And when a river is being divided by an upper elevated land or a hill or a part of any landmass which will divide the flow of the water into two parts, is called as water divide. So today, regarding drainage system in India, we are going to talk about the very important rivers of India in the northern India, that are river Ganga, river Brahmaputra, and river Indus. Now let us discuss about the first river, which originated in Himalayas. So the Himalayan rivers in India, as we discussed earlier, even in the previous topic also, we heard very clearly about Himalayan rivers and perennial rivers. So among the Himalayan rivers, the first important river is the Indus. The Indus originates in Tibet at a lake called as Mansarovar. From there, it moves on to the Indian land in the Ladakh district in Jammu Kashmir. After entering into the India, varying other distributaries of this Indus river also joins to Jammu Kashmir, and the other tributaries that are coming from Tibet to India are the Zaskar, Nubra, Syak, and Hunza, together in Jammu Kashmir region. Now from there it passes to Balochistan and Gilgit ranges and enters into the Attock regions. After entering into the Attock region, it itself gets divided into 5 major tributaries in the Punjab region as Satluj, Ravi, Beas, Chenab, and Jhelum, where it supplies huge land with full fertile and plenty of irrigation of water to all the parts of Punjab, Haryana, Jammu Kashmir, and Himachal Pradesh. And later it enters into Mithankot in Pakistan, and from there it flows towards the southward, and then it enters to the east of Karachi, and there it joins into the Arabian Sea, where it ends its long journey of 2,900 kilometers, and it also provides water to the states like Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, and Jammu Kashmir. And according to 1960, India signed an agreement with the Pakistan stating that India can use only 20% of the total water carried by the Indus river system. So according to this treaty, India can use these water for agriculture purpose only. Now let us discuss about the other major river in India, that is the Ganga river. The river Ganga is being widely spread in the entire northern India. Now let's see where this river Ganga originates and all its journey. River Ganga originates from its two of its tributaries, that is Bhagirathi and Alaknanda. Bhagirathi is getting from Himalayan origin and then Alaknanda. These two join at Devaprayaga and give birth to river Ganga. Along with this, we also have other set of tributaries joining river Ganga. They are Yamuna, having its origin from Yamunotri glacier, and even we have Nepal Himalayan belt tributaries joining river Ganga. They are Ghagra, Ghantak and Kosi. These all have their origin in Nepal Himalayan regions. So these all come and join in the river Ganga at Allahabad. So we have two sets of tributaries joining together to make a very large river Ganga. After all this joining, it carried this river Ganga, and river Ganga starts its flowing from Himalayan ranges. That is, it starts its movements from higher elevated areas towards the lower areas. That is, from Haridwar to the plain lands, and then it flows towards to the larger extent of the east, that is West Bengal, and to the peninsular plateau. We find few tributaries like Betwa and Sun on the upper lands also. And later, after entering into the Bay of Bengal, it gets bifurcated its course. It means along with the main course, it gets two more bifurcations like Bhagirathi and Hooghly river. And later the main course enters into the Bangladesh, and in Bangladesh the name of this the tributary is known as Meghna, and finally it makes a beautiful delta region known as Sundarbans before joining the Bay of Bengal region. Like this, river Ganga have its journey from around 2500 kilometers, spreading its various tributaries in the entire North Indian plain, and that is the reason why it is also called as Indo-Gangetic plain, and its width is of 1800 kilometers, and its slope is of around 300 meters. That is the reason how Ganga got many meanders and oxbow lakes formation based on land and its movement to different areas. And now let us go with the other third important river in India, which also originates in Himalayas, that is the river Brahmaputra. This Brahmaputra also got its origin at where the Indus got its birth, that is near the lake Mansarovar, and then it moves parallelly to Himalayas. But actually, the river Brahmaputra travels more distant from river Indus, and it is traveling outside India. So as it is outer part within, as it is out of Indian country, so it does not come into our account. Then it takes U-turn at Namcha mountain range and enters into Arunachal Pradesh, creating a gorge. Then from there it enters into the mainland of Tibet, which is called as Dihang, and then covers the places of India with the names of Brahmaputra in the states of Arunachal Pradesh and Assam regions. And if we look at the journey of Brahmaputra, it passes through very smaller deep valleys, and the volume of water is very less. But as it enters into the India, it is passing through a region to a high rainfall regions, where it passes to such areas where the rainfall is high. It collects huge amount of water, resulting in the formation of riverine land in Assam regions. It is the largest riverine land inhabited by the people called as Majula. Majula riverine land created by river Brahmaputra region, where it has given a good support for the people and their existence, and very good fertile land for cultivation. And this is a very fertile land, and it also carries huge silt soil deposits, which makes its rivers to get raised up, and that results to frequent floods in Brahmaputra region. So Brahmaputra river flowing regions flow in the regions like in Assam, and finally from there it flows to Bangladesh by naming itself as Padma, and ends up its journey by joining into the Bay of Bengal. This is what the topic about the three important rivers, River Ganga, River Indus, and Brahmaputra, their journey, their origin, and different places, how they cover in the most part of North India. That's all from this part, children. Meet you in the next part 2.